Welcome everyone. This week, global hotspots are on fire. A fragile ceasefire between nuclear powers is already cracking. The Gaza aid crisis hits a new low, and the US and China talk reset while threatening massive tariffs. We're diving deep into all of it. A massive thank you for joining us, and if you're new, a very, very warm welcome. We're thrilled to have you. We pour our passion into this research, so if you find this valuable, please smash that thumbs up and hit subscribe. It truly helps us grow. All right, let's get straight into the critical events of this past week, ending May 11th, 2025. First, the situation in Gaza remains absolutely dire. Israeli airstrikes have tragically continued. This past week alone, reports from May 10th and 11th show at least 23 Palestinians killed. In one horrific incident, a family's tent was bombed in Gaza City. The UN and aid groups are sounding the alarm louder than ever about Israel's control over aid distribution. The blockade is now dragging into its third month. Think about that. 3 months of critical supplies being choked. As a direct result, vital charity kitchens are shutting down. For many, these were the only source of food. This is dramatically worsening an already catastrophic humanitarian crisis. Interestingly, the UN has pushed back against Israeli claims, denying significant aid diversion by Hamas. This war, now over 19 grueling months old, has claimed over 52,800 Palestinian lives, according to Gaza's health ministry. Meanwhile, in Israel, the pressure cooker is also building. Protests continue, with citizens demanding a ceasefire and the urgent return of hostages still held by Hamas. Families are terrified that any new military operations could endanger those still captive. A heartbreaking situation with no easy answers. What do you think is the biggest obstacle to getting aid into Gaza right now? Let me know in the comments. Next, a major flashpoint, the disputed Kashmir region between India and Pakistan. After days of intense military escalation, we're talking cross-border attacks and fiery rhetoric, a US-mediated ceasefire was announced on May 10th. This was meant to be a full and immediate ceasefire, and it brought a wave of relief. The escalation reportedly kicked off around April 22nd with a deadly attack in Indian-administered Kashmir. This was followed by swift diplomatic downgrades, border closures, and military posturing from both sides. Pakistan even conducted missile tests, while India launched missile and drone strikes. But here's the concern. While both nations confirmed the truce, disturbing reports of explosions and accusations of violations surfaced from both sides within hours. This underscores just how fragile this peace is. The international community is holding its breath. Will this ceasefire hold, or are we on the brink of something worse? This is a powder keg. Do you believe this US-mediated ceasefire has a real chance? Tell us below. Shifting to Europe, Russia marked its Victory Day on May 8th and 9th, commemorating the surrender of Nazi Germany. Notably, Chinese President Xi Jinping joined President Putin in Moscow, a powerful symbol of their growing alignment. However, analysts from the Institute for the Study of War noted something interesting. Putin didn't highlight any significant recent battlefield successes in Ukraine during his speeches. Instead, the focus was on operations like repelling a Ukrainian incursion into Kursk Oblast, an operation that took considerable time and resources. The reality is, Russian forces reportedly haven't seized any major towns in Ukraine since Avdiivka back in February 2024. They also failed to achieve several of their stated objectives by this Victory Day. This lack of major progress is largely down to fierce Ukrainian resistance, the effective use of Western-supplied weapons, and Ukraine's successful integration of drone warfare. On a different note, US President Trump proposed a 30-day unconditional ceasefire in Ukraine to precede peace talks. Ukraine has historically supported such ideas, but Russia has consistently rejected them. Ukrainian President Zelensky indicated alignment with the US and Europe on the need for a full ceasefire. Russia did announce a unilateral ceasefire for its Victory Day, but Ukrainian sources reported continued Russian attacks during this supposed pause. The war grinds on, and lasting peace seems a distant hope. Now, to the complex dance between the United States and China. High-level trade talks kicked off this week in Geneva. The aim? De-escalating the ongoing trade war that's been rattling the global economy for years. President Trump hailed the initial talks as a very good meeting. He even spoke of a potential total reset in US-China trade relations. But hold on, this optimism is clashing with continued tough rhetoric. Trump also suggested that an 80% tariff on Chinese imports seems right. That's a massive figure. Analysts believe these talks are more likely about establishing frameworks and boundaries, rather than striking an immediate, comprehensive deal. Both nations are also continuing efforts to financially decouple to some extent. This is all happening against a backdrop of broader geopolitical posturing, including joint statements by China and Russia criticizing U.S. foreign policy. So, mixed signals abound. A reset or more conflict? Tensions across the Taiwan Strait remain a huge focus. Internally this week, Taiwan saw continued efforts to recall several opposition KMT legislators. If successful, this could potentially allow the ruling DPP to regain a legislative majority. Why does this matter? It could significantly impact Taiwan's defense budget and its ability to procure arms. The Institute for the Study of War suggests the PRC is likely exploiting this internal political discord for its own narrative. Regionally, the Philippines is notably deepening military cooperation with other Indo-Pacific countries, including Japan and New Zealand. They're even reportedly in discussions with Taiwan for naval cooperation. This is widely seen as a direct response to what these nations perceive as increasing PRC aggression in the South China Sea and beyond. Taiwan's President Lai didn't mince words. He made powerful statements comparing Taiwan's current situation to that of European countries facing Nazi Germany in the 1930s. That's a stark warning about the perceived threat from authoritarianism. Adding to this, the U.S. House of Representatives passed bipartisan bills to strengthen support for Taiwan. The region is dynamic and potentially volatile, with everyone adjusting their chess pieces. And that, everyone, is a snapshot of our turbulent world for the week ending May 11th, 2025. It certainly never stands still. We'll be right here next week to track all these developments and more. What story this week caught your attention the most? Or is there a region you think we should cover more? Let us know in the comments below. We read them all. Your support, your likes, and your subscriptions are what keep this channel going and allow us to continue doing what we're passionate about. We truly hope you found this update informative and insightful. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and stay informed.